Many years ago, I knew a man named Daniel.
Daniel wasn't a stupid man. He wasn't lazy, and he certainly wasn't unlucky. If you met him on the street, you would probably say he had potential.
But Daniel had one problem. Every year of his life looked exactly the same. The same complaints, the same conversations, and the same promise he kept repeating. I'll start tomorrow. Daniel had a habit. Not something obvious, not something people could see immediately, but it quietly controlled his entire life. Every time something went wrong, Daniel had someone to blame. If work became difficult, he blamed his boss. If money was tight, he blamed the economy. And if life felt slow and disappointing, he blamed his past. To Daniel, the world was always the problem. The system was unfair, people were selfish, life was harder for him than for everyone else. And slowly, something dangerous started to happen. One evening, Daniel met an old friend. They hadn't seen each other for years. They sat in a quiet bar, talking about life. And just like always, Daniel started explaining why nothing in his life was working. He talked about his boss, about the economy, about how lucky everyone else seemed to be, and how unfair life had been to him.
His friend listened quietly, didn't interrupt, didn't argue, and when Daniel finally stopped talking, his friend said something Daniel had never heard before.
Understand the risks involved. I do. I know you're tired, but you can't keep...
Daniel's friend looked at him for a moment. Then he said something simple. Not angry, not loud, just honest. Daniel's friend looked at him for a moment. Then he said something simple. Not angry, not loud, just honest. Daniel didn't say anything after that. He finished his drink, said goodbye, and walked home alone. He didn't turn on the TV, didn't open his phone. For the first time in years, Daniel just sat in silence. And slowly, something uncomfortable began to happen. For the first time in his life, Daniel stopped blaming the world. That night, Daniel sat alone in his apartment for a long time. No television, no phone, just silence. For the first time in years, he replayed the conversation in his head. His boss, the economy, his past, all the people he had blamed. And suddenly a strange thought appeared. What if they were not the problem? What if the real reason his life never changed was the man sitting in that chair? Daniel realized something uncomfortable. No one had forced him to waste his evenings. No one had forced him to ignore opportunities. Those had been his decisions. And for the first time in his life, Daniel stopped blaming the world. He just sat there, looking at his own reflection in the dark window, and quietly admitted something he had avoided for years. Maybe the problem was me. Once Daniel saw the truth, he couldn't unsee it. The next morning he woke up and noticed something strange. Nothing in his life was actually broken, but everything was slightly wrong. The late nights, the endless scrolling, the comfortable routines that slowly stole his time. Daniel began to see how his life had really changed. Not through one big mistake, but through thousands of small decisions. Every evening wasted, every promise delayed, every moment he chose comfort instead of effort. And suddenly the pattern became clear. Weakness doesn't appear overnight. It is built quietly, one easy decision at a time. The next morning, Daniel did something different. Nothing dramatic, no big speech, no sudden transformation. He simply made one decision. Instead of promising himself tomorrow again, Daniel finally started today. Daniel didn't become strong overnight, but something important had changed. For the first time in his life, he stopped lying to himself. He stopped blaming the world, and he understood something most people never accept. Weakness isn't bad luck. Weakness is built through excuses, and strength begins the moment those excuses end.